Hello, folks, and welcome back again and again. This is the actual third. Hoping that my mic is working and getting out into radio land this time, and folks can actually hear me. So I'll wait on confirmation for that, but go ahead and proceed with the podcast this evening. Appreciate you being here, and thanks for the new subscribers. We got more subscribers. We're getting some comments, and we're getting some views, and things are picking up. So it's baby steps. Every little bit helps. And while you're here, if you think about if you hadn't already subscribed, please subscribe and give us a like and make a comment. Maybe share the channel. Invite people over. Like I said, we need all the help we can get. I think it's 1,000 subscribers to get monetized, but it would be nice to have some monetization to help out with some of to pay some of the fees we end up incurring to get some of the information that we want. But we'll keep working that direction and making those baby steps. And like I said, appreciate everybody being here. Yeah, I'm on the right setting on my voice box here. And so tonight, as the description is indicated, we're going to uh, we're going to talk about our senator's word salad that I've made into a wrap for everyone to sort of break the monotony, the political monotony that's been going on. And but before we do that, and also take a look at the occurrence today, the issue where the gentleman in Orangeburg wore his hat into the poll place, and the poll workers, I think, mistook it for one of the current candidates' representation, or to be representing one of the current candidates, and it was not, from my understanding. Um, and some things happened, and we'll take a look at that as well. But first, I want to mention that as I watch these videos, I make these videos, and I look back and watch it. I realize that I may not be setting up, what I'm talking about here, and I may not be keeping everyone in track, on track with me, because I know a lot of things in my head, and I tend to skip over some of it that folks may not be aware of. So I'm going to try to do better at setting things up and backtracking to make sure everybody's still with me. So if y'all lose place, if you're watching live, just hit a message on here. Let me know that I lost you, and could I backtrack, and I'll back up. Yeah, I'm gonna get things started, and I'm gonna make an attempt here. We had some technical difficulties earlier, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen over here to this, what we call a word salad, because in South Carolina District 36, we tend to get any responses that we get, verbal or written, are usually in the form of a word salad from our District 36 senator. He is he's long winded, and he says a lot. But sometimes it tends to end off subject. If you ask him a question, he'll start off pretty good on subject, and then he ends, somewhere else. And I don't think this is any exception to the rule that we've come up with and dub these. I think a lot of people call political verbiage these days word salads, and some of them are a lot worse. I mean, he's a very well spoken individual. I think. I mean, I don't have anything against him speaking. I just don't think that he sticks to the subject matter like he should. And short answers, yes or no, some in some cases, but I don't think I've ever heard him just say yes or no on anything he's addressed. So here we have a Facebook post he made, and a lot of you have probably seen this now, but I mean, he's just basically going after our House representative, and he's not even running against her. But he does have a guy running against her, but it's just for absolute power, and it's hard to believe that he's saying in this post here that she wants absolute power. So and we'll get to that in a second. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you I'm I'm going to attempt to give you the wrap. I've set it up a different way. So here is the word salad wrap from our senator. This is not our senator rapping, by the way. This is an AI voice that I picked. But I thought I'd kind of make it fun tonight, and like I said, break up the monotony here a little bit. Let's see what happens. And that's it. I couldn't really put everybody through that. I'm not sure if it was if it broadcasted or not. Hopefully it did. If you didn't hear it, no big deal. We'll get it right next time. Um, but he's saying here basically that yeah, hearing no sound to the music. I just get that feedback, so I don't know what's going on there. Technical difficulties. I need an IT group here. Good idea. I need some IT folks. Um, any rate, on this here, he says that, talking about our House representative for District 64, obviously he dislikes her. Um, and it's his job, I guess, to get his candidate elected because there's no doubt that they've been in absolute power for many years, and she is now in the position to be the checker and the balancer. They don't want checkers and balancers. They do not like to be checked and balanced. There's really no accountability. They had a 20-year, and we'll talk about this in here in a minute. 20-year, almost said the bad word. It's a 1% tax, not a penny tax. It's a 1% tax. Because I don't want to mislead anybody. 1% means you spend 1%, a penny for every dollar you spend. So we don't want to call it just a penny. It's not just a penny, like they make it sound. It's not a penny for progress. It might be a dollar for progress. If you spend $100, it's a dollar for progress. If you spend $50, it's 50 cents for progress because it's a penny for every dollar, right? So to take to pull the wool off of that sheep, so to speak, so you can see what's really underneath us, it's a penny for every dollar. But anyway, he says that suddenly she'll realize that working together is a two-way street. Like she doesn't want to work with him. I beg to differ. I've sort of heard about this situation a lot, and he's made a huge post in the beginning that he would never work with her on anything. And I think he's pretty well kept his word. I know they have to work together on some things, but trust me, he could do a lot better. He could do a lot better. She's willing to work with anybody, as we already know. She's willing to talk with anybody. She'll discuss these matters with you. All you got to do is reach out. She's busy, very busy lady, but reach out and she will get to you as soon as she can. Just make sure that you get your own. You form your own opinion, and not the opinion of anybody writing about somebody like this, because he spoke about me in a recent podcast, and it's just straight up lies, because he listens to people that think they know me. But I know the people that do know me, and they don't say those things. They won't say those things about me. So, and if they did, shame on them. But I don't believe they did. And he says that she is new to our area. She's been here upward of 10 years. I'm guessing. I'm not quite sure on the exact date, of course, but she's been there for a while. She's been there. That family is very well known in the community. And this is not somebody that just came here to take over Clarendon County by no stretch. She's basically giving Clarendon County back to the people. The Clarendon County has been taken over for many years now, decades, in fact. And like I mentioned, absolute power is their goal, to keep it. They've had it. They want to keep it. And he just hates to see it go away, and hates to have a checker and a balancer in his way. Anybody asking questions. So, and she does ask questions, and that's great. That's what we want as representation. That is representation in the state house, not just having your will and doing what you will and doing your way of things all the time. So she's new to our area. Only been in politics for about 2 years, and I'm a lifelong resident. Just lifelong resident, right? And I've been an elected or an appointed official for almost 40 years. And we know that if he lived here long enough, because he started on the school board and worked his way through the mayor and worked his way through the Senate and worked his way through the House and into the Senate. And he's been in the Senate for 12 years now, and this will be his fourth term. you know, and to be in the Senate that long, experience, I'd say it matters, but I don't think it matters that much. I'd prefer to have a senator maybe 2 terms, and then we do another senator the next 2 terms if we could set up term limits on that, because I think they get complacent. I know, in my opinion, let me say that my current senator is definitely complacent because he seems to be of the mindset that if you didn't vote for him, he don't represent you. At least that's the perception I've gotten over time, because he doesn't represent me. He represents me zero. He calls me names, and I'm none of what he calls me. I'm not a bully. I'm not a racist. And I don't think he's called me a racist. I'm not going to say they're racist. I'll let people make their own decision or make their own whatever he called it, uh, assumption, opinion, whatever he said. Um, that was his words in the podcast last week, or I think it's been a couple of weeks since he made it, but I went over it in my first video on his channel. So with that being said, nobody's here to take over the county in a bad way, as he said on the podcast. Also, he didn't bother to elaborate or explain the bad way that people want to take over the county, but he just uses those fear tactics on people that may agree with it. They may be listening to every word he says. They might be hanging on every word he says, and glad to hear him talking. But he's not really telling the exact truth. He says he's a lifelong resident out of Clarendon County, because I did read somewhere that he didn't come here until he was around 15. I personally am a lifelong resident of Clarendon County, so I've been here since 1970, 54 years now. But I can't say he wasn't here, when he came here exactly. But I read somewhere, and I'd have to look it up. I don't have it to show you, and I hate to say things where I don't have proof to back it up right now. But I did read that he did come here when he was like 15, in high school, maybe. But I guess he's 60 some odd years old, so we could grandfather him in as lifelong. And he's been an appointed official for almost 40 years. Again, that's a long time. And I think this situation screams term limits when you are just talking to constituents any kind of way, and you don't deal with them. You just sweep them off, block them. He's sharing state information on his page that I cannot see. And I don't think he has me blocked now, but he has it set like where only friends can see it. And he hasn't accepted my friend request for some ungodly reason. Because he don't want me asking questions, because that is all I've done. That's all I've done the whole time. I've not put him down. I've not put his family down. I've stated that they all are on the taxpayer payroll, because they are. I mean, it's facts. He's got 2 daughters and a wife in the school district. His son works in the state house, and he's a senator. Everybody's on the taxpayer payroll. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth, and that's just a fact. I haven't said anything out of the way, or put anybody down. I don't care what they do in their private life, but in public, and they create perception that people want to know about. People ask me to ask about, because some of them are in positions that they can't say anything, and they are in fear that their livelihood will be taken away from them just by challenging something the senator said, or a situation involving something within the school district, or something in town, or something in the county politics, something county administration. They can't talk like they want to. They can't address issues like they want to when they're scared that the job they'll be done. Even business owners around here, they know if they say the wrong thing here, their businesses will suffer. So they can't. We shouldn't have to live like that. Business owners, public employees, whether you're school district, county, city, it don't matter to me. I mean, I get along with everybody if I can. And I appreciate everybody. I appreciate the senator for what he does and what he has done. I don't know everything he's done because he doesn't share it with me, obviously. And he don't want me to know. He doesn't want me to know the answers to the questions I've asked. And again, that's him. Um, I think in here he says before her, I have never had any problems working with anyone, even those who I didn't agree with, and that's a little spotty right there. I think that's some verbiage I wrote on the video part of it. Since moving here, she has been a disruption to our way of life and our institutions. Senator, straight up, man, what the hell are you talking about right there? I wish you would just call me. I can try to get you my number here. You can message me on Facebook, however you want to reach me. But what the hell does that even mean? She's been a disruption to our way of life. That's just rude to say, man. That's rude and it's a lie. A straight up lie. That girl works. I watch her on Facebook. I see her post. I hear people talking. They appreciate her and what she's doing. She's doing a great job and if you would appreciate it like you're supposed to, instead of wanting that absolute power, you wouldn't say ridiculous stuff like this. I mean, you're supposed to be a respectable, honorable senator. Why would you say that about this young lady? You probably need to rethink that one, maybe apologize even. But you didn't hold a school board or school, I mean the school board and the superintendent accountable, so I don't look for you to hold yourself accountable here either. But that's just rude. That's just a rude statement. I don't appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of other people don't either. So that will not help you get anybody elected. I promise you. She fulfilled her promise to kill the only bill that we are aware of that gives property tax relief to Clarendon County taxpayers. And she was one of the first members of the House to co-sponsor a bill that would subject a woman to the death penalty if that woman chose to have an abortion. Well, now again, let's form our own opinions. Let's do our own research, and we have to stop believing what we see just because somebody wrote it down. Doesn't necessarily make it true. If you want to ask her opinion of this, then you can formulate your own from the two. I mean, that's probably the best protocol. If you want to look up the bill and read it for yourself, I'll be glad to show you how. Just let me know in the comments. And I got nervous when I saw this message just now, so that's why I paused for a minute because I heard no sound again. But hopefully, y'all still hearing me out there. Um, if y'all want to reach out to her and like I said, or read the bill for yourself, I'll be glad to show you how to find the bill, and we'll look it up and read it together. And you can form your own opinion, like I said, because this right here is just, this is smear campaign, first class smear campaign right here. Now she is working extremely hard to make sure that Clarendon County no longer has something that it has always had. Now, I don't know about always. I do know that we have had a resident senator for a long time, and I appreciate that. I guess there are some pros and cons. And for some reason, to me, it's been, a lot more cons than it used to be, you know, from what I remember. But I wasn't into politics that much back then. I'm not so necessarily into politics now, but I'm into how my money is being spent and how our money is being spent. I just want you guys to know and help y'all understand how it's being spent. She's trying to give, I don't know how she has the power to give anything to anybody, but she's trying to give our Senate seat to a person from Ohio who has only been an elected official for less than 2 years on school board and has only been a South Carolina resident for a few years. She wants to forego all of my experience and seniority in the Senate, both of which have been a tremendous benefit to Clarendon County District 36 and the state of South Carolina, in favor of a new resident to our state and this district. She wants absolute power. And I am the only thing that stands in the way of that. I agree. I disagree again, Senator. I think you want absolute power, and she is the only thing that stands in the way of that. And I think a lot more people would probably agree with what I just said than what you said here. I'm just thinking out loud again. Um, if my opponent was to win, he will be number 46 out of 46 in an institution. The Senate that operates mainly on seniority. That would be very detrimental to Senate District 36 to lose that much stature, experience, and seniority, but she doesn't care. Thankfully for all of us, the majority of the voters get it. So maybe they do. I don't think they get it the way you think they get it. They get it all right. They understand because I hear a lot of people talking, and it's they share their feelings about things around here, and the way I feel about this is she wants absolute power is another ridiculous comment because she does not want absolute power. But I know you do because you're running an individual against her, an excellent House representative, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion. You're running someone against her for what? We've got a good, we've got a great House representative. We don't need to change. Why would you want to change it? For somebody you would work with, or yeah, somebody because you don't want to work with her, because you don't want her questioning you or your capabilities or what you're doing. Well, we do. We want somebody in there that questions and checks and balances. That's important to us. It's important to us as taxpayers, voters, constituents, citizens, whatever you want to call us, whether we voted for you or not, which I probably did, by the way, because I don't really remember a lot of Republican candidates as I was coming through the ranks of voting throughout, and I don't think my record reflects a lot of votes. I didn't vote a lot because I work out of town a lot. I work out of state a lot, but I do know that I was a hard Democrat, and I'm working to get more back toward the center because I don't want to really be Democrat and I don't want to really be Republican. I just want to be conservative for now because I think I've seen some things in both parties I don't care to see, and I'm not against either one, but I'm not necessarily for either one right now. So I just want to kind of get in the middle and stay there. My views and my opinions and things align more with the Republican conservative side of things, but simply because they're conservatives. And that's sort of where I am with things. I don't care to be definitely don't care to be affiliated with some of the Democratic stuff that's going on here, and what's going on in Washington D.C. is going to be that's quite a mess. So and it needs to be straightened out one way or the other. Whether people are leaving the Democratic Party and they tell me that they didn't leave it, that it left them, the party left them, the party went somewhere they didn't want to go, and I've heard that more than once. I've heard it on TV and I've heard it live. I've heard it live from local Democrats. So people want to stay in their party, and I hear people sort of put the entire Democratic Party in one pot like they're all bad people. They're not. They're not. They're all good people, and the party itself may be going bad. That's not their fault. Some people want to save it. Some people want to save that side of things and make it good again. And they'll have to work on that themselves if that's what they choose to do. Some are swapping over. Some are coming to more conservative. You don't have to be a Republican to be conservative. You can be a conservative Democrat, but I think that's where the problem's at. The Democratic Party has lost a lot of their conservatism, and they're leaning more towards socialism, and it just doesn't fit the agenda for Americans as the way we see it. But yeah, I just think this was a word salad. I hate that y'all didn't hear the rap, but it was kind of cool, and I may have to share my screen again. But that's I just wanted to address those points in there. I just don't think that This is a lot. This seems like a lot of, he called us mean spirited, hateful, and divisive in a podcast recently. Called everybody on sort of this side of the fence, if you will. Just grouped us all together as hateful, divisive, and mean spirited. And I want you to see, I wanted y'all to see right here that I think all of those are written into this verbiage right here. This is hateful, mean spirited, and divisive. This is definitely that. We are not. I am not. I'm not trying to be that here. I mean, I don't even know him. He don't even know me. But I do know that, some of the things he said here, he shouldn't have said. My opinion, again. So I'm gonna move on over here to. I would like for that thing to act right, and I'll eventually get that figured out. But it makes me reshare my screen every time I move it, and I don't know why. So we try to see this video here, and y'all can help me with the sound again if you don't hear it. I mean, we'll just talk about it, but let's see if y'all can hear this or not. That beeped out. Okay, we got no sound with that either. So that's going to be an IT thing we're going to have to check out when my IT department comes on board. We'll have to get the sound checked out. But I will touch on the fact that because I'm still going to let it play because I'll just talk through it there because I can hear it. I don't know now. He took his hat off and threw it down. It was a Let's Go Brandon hat. And yeah, I'm just gonna play the video. I see you're saying that y'all can't hear the video, but I'm just gonna play it and talk through it anyway. Because I had a little bit of an argument today with an individual, and he was saying that this guy hit that lady first. Now I don't see him hitting her first. This lady right here. That's now he pointed his finger at her right there. If y'all see that, after he points his finger, she swings and slaps him. Watch. All he did was point. I don't know that he touched her. I couldn't see her head. I don't know if that camera angle, if they got another camera angle or not. There are witnesses there, and this will all come out in the investigation that's going to be going on. But and they just kind of got out of hand after that. But and potentially, it could be illegal to wear candidates, hat or anything like that into the polling place. I haven't read the law myself. The guy was sort of debating about this with, sent me a paragraph or two on the law, and it did state that wearing it in the polling place or within 50 feet of the door, um, was illegal, was unlawful, is what it says. So if that is the case, and again, I have to look that up. Y'all can look it up and be your own judge of it and see what you think about it. But this hat said, "Let's go, Brandon." And as we know, Brandon was not running. He's not running. He has stepped aside, and they basically given the nomination to a lady with a very questionable past. I don't know who follows Candace Owens, but she has brought light to the fact that there's some shady individuals in Kamala's past that, very questionable, very questionable. So, again, I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. Follow her on YouTube and go and back up to maybe episode 71, 70, 71, 72. I think is where she began because Kamala's people came after Janet Jackson about saying that she wasn't black. She heard she wasn't black. She hasn't watched the news in a while, but that's what they told me was her words. And they I think the guy claiming to be her manager issued an apology on Janet Jackson's behalf, and she fired him and said, "I'm not apologizing." And Candace basically took that fairly personal against Janet Jackson because she's a Jackson fan. And she's been digging since now for about a month into Kamala's past. So it's a very interesting watch. So if you're not subscribed to her on YouTube, definitely subscribe to her. A lot of information there on Kamala's background that would probably stop anybody from voting for if they knew the truth. But yeah, again, if you hadn't already subscribed, help us out and hit the subscribe button. I appreciate the views, and I'm sorry for the technical difficulties tonight, and I will be working on that. And I intend to get a whole new setup here pretty soon, so we'll do away with some of those issues. And again, I appreciate everybody. Like I said, just give us a like, comment if you got questions, concerns, anything about it, improvements we can make, any topics you want to cover. I can look into and put a video together on here for you. And we'll all work together just like we do in the Palmetto State Audit Facebook group. I left a link in the description for that. If you hadn't joined already, you can click on that and go to the Facebook group and answer the questions. Make sure you answer the questions, please, because we do vet the questions. We do vet your page to make sure you are a real person. We get a lot of spam pages trying to get into the group, and we try to mitigate that as best as we can. Again, questions, concern, leave a comment. Let us know. And as I left the email in below the description also is the Palmetto State Audit at gmail.com. With any questions, I'll try to get to whatever you got and help it out. But I'm going to finally go ahead and call it a night. Go ahead and check out. This was my third attempt at this, and I got to work on these technical difficulties with the sound. So appreciate everybody's time. Thank y'all, and have a good night.